Yes, I am one of the chosen. I braved the harsh seas, the barren wastelands, and the child support traps to get where I am today. And that is playing Marvel Tokon in my bedroom at 4 a.m. like a fucking degenerate. Yes guys, I am one of the 5 people who actually received an invite to play this game, or at least that's what it feels like. It seems 1 in 5 of the bunch of people that I harassed to sign up for this beta actually got in. So I thank my lucky stars that I am able to play Drip Lord early. I know that I have not made a single Marvel Tokon video, like ever. I don't think that I have even ever mentioned the game's name on my channel. However, we are here now and we are playing the game. So let's talk about why I think this game is... Wait, wrong game, my bad. Marvel Tokon looks incredible. Visually this game looks clean, the animations look so smooth. Arc Studios really cooked on the art direction that they went with for this game. One thing that I have always harped on about when talking about Guilty Gear, who the studio who made Guilty Gear made this game as well, is that the game is full of visual clutter. For people who play Guilty Gear, you can probably see what's going on because your eyes are probably square or something. But for me, every time I turn on Strive, I thank God that I am not epileptic and then immediately have an aneurysm. This game is not like that, and I think that the art style obviously has something to do with that, but this game just looks cleaner. That's not to say that there isn't a bunch of shit happening on my screen, but I can see. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but let me know in the comments, I don't know. Maybe I just have bitch beta boy eyes that don't allow me to see good things. I don't know. The game looks amazing, and what's even crazier is that I am playing this on like a super standard setup, like I have a fucking 1080p screen. So this game actually looks even better than what I am experiencing right now. If I was to play this game in 4K, I might actually just reach enlightenment, bro. Like there's a monk out there who spent his whole entire life not beating his meat and eating bamboo sticks in the hopes that his soul ascends and he can break the never-ending reincarnation cycle, when he could have just played Marvel Tokon on a 4K monitor and got the hell out of here. Or listen to the bridge in Paper Cut by Linkin Park. But yeah, it's pretty hard to get a feel of what's going on in this game just from watching a few trailers. So I am here to share with you some of my knowledge that I have accumulated from this beta and tell you what I like, dislike, etc. Firstly, this is very much an Arc System Works game. There is no denying that. The movement in this game is very Arc System Works. Backdashing in this game is cracked for creating space. In this game, of course, the backdash spam gets beaten by projectiles and such, but against a dude clicking just normals, you are out of there. You can walk forward obviously and you can run forward, air dash, back and forth, all of the standard shit. Aerial movement in this game can be different character from character. For example, Storm and I believe Star-Lord and Doom can outright fly. So you can change the projection of where you're going pretty damn easily and just mess with your opponent like this, bait whiffs and other nonsense stuff. So yeah, I've seen a few people compare this game to Marvel vs. Capcom for some reason. Like, other than the fact that they're both Marvel fighting games, like where does that comparison come in? I don't get that personally, but the movement in this game was very smooth, which kind of surprised me for a beta because I thought it would at least be a little clunky, you know, but it's not like that at all. However, there is one strange limitation to the movement. Triangle jump, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like a small jump into an approaching jump forward. It's kind of hard to explain, but to be honest, just imagine the top of a triangle and visualize that as a jump. I don't know. Or you can't attack out of doing this, which is kind of weird. This is something that I discovered on accident actually. I was just wondering like, why is nothing coming out here? This, I'm pretty sure, was an intentional choice by the devs. I'm not really sure why, but I don't know. I do also want to bring up air block because I guess this ties into the movement. I've never really played a game with air block seriously, so I don't know how impactful it is in a game like this. Does this make anti-airing like hard as fuck because you can't just jump in and block? Like, is jumping just OP when this is a thing in your game? You will have to fill me in, guys. Please send help. However, whilst I was playing, it felt good. I don't know. The combat in this game feels pretty solid. There is a bunch of noob options though. So for the people who hate modern controls, do not pick this game up. I am fairly certain that the release game will have motion inputs in their game. Well, the game does now, but in the command list, everything is listed as if you're using the modern controls. So I just didn't bother with motion inputs or anything like that at all, even though I know the modern controls do less damage. So square, square, square is a light combo that will go into an assemble attack thing. Triangle, triangle, triangle will do a medium combo and end with a super. And circle, circle, circle will do a heavy combo with like an EX move and your level 3 if that's available. But this is just built into the game. Like there's no modern control option. It's just in the game if you want to use it. At least in this beta. Throws is another thing that is mildly cringe because at point blank, a throw acts exactly how a throw is supposed to act. Just does a throw, sends them flying, you already know. However, if there is some distance between you and your opponent and you do a throw, your character will auto run and do the throw. So throws don't miss in this game unless your opponent is like really far away or they obviously hit you out of it, which is the main counterplay to throws. I don't really know why this is a thing. Technically makes the throw unreadable with like less risk, right? Because you're never whiffing a throw. At least that's how I'm processing this. Landing a throw also breaks the wall from a million miles away. It might even just break the wall period from wherever you are on the stage. Modern Control's dash is kind of goofy to me as well because from frame 1 you're just moving like a demon. With just like two buttons basically. This is kind of bordering on, okay, you're making the game a little too easy, you know, but I'm not losing my mind over this, just not yet. However, there is something that I do think is very silly, very goofy, and makes the game omega retarded in my opinion. It's just one thing, I forgot what this move is called, but it is a tag mechanic, so you will need to use bar to use this. And it's literally an armored overhead that any character can use. And I am fairly certain that this move is not reactable. It might be, but from the 7 or so hours I had of looking at it, it doesn't look that way. I could be wrong though. However, I am going to assume that I am 100% correct and say that it is not reactable, at least most of the time. I don't like this. I don't know if it's because I play Street Fighter and in that game you kind of have to find ways to make your overheads work, because neutral overheads are usually all reactable. So the standard way of moving around that is to drive rush into an overhead, which already requires you to be in a certain kind of advantageous position already. With the Tokon universal overhead, you literally spend a bar to do an overhead, which if you have all of your teammates unlocked can do some pretty icky damage. To be honest, these devs are showing signs that they don't know how to balance overheads. Like Captain America, for example, he can start off his combo and yeah, he can do all of the Avengers Assemble shit, whoop your ass and go into a super. But he also has the option to go for an overhead or a ground slam low as his ender. Both of these moves knock down, so Cap can do this over and over and over again. It's incredibly cringe, especially on Cap, who already does like everything. This style of gameplay is something that I think a lot of fighting game players are kind of tired with this new generation of fighting games. It's legit all 50-50 orientated. Like in Street Fighter, you have your strike throw mix up, and basically anyone who has a good strike throw mix up is just automatically a good character. Tekken 8, the whole entire gameplay is based around forcing 50-50s as much as humanly possible with things like heat and plus frame mids and such. And now there's this game with universal overheads and universal combo lows. Not the biggest fan. And you would think that the assemble defensive mechanics would kind of help you with this, but I'm pretty sure assemble counter and that other counter is just outright vulnerable to lows. So yeah, overheads kind of cringe. I kind of went on a negative tangent, so let's just talk about some cool stuff. Every single character in this game feels very unique and has a whole bunch of technical things that they can do, that with more time on the game will create skill gaps on their own. What I mean by this is, for example, Star-Lord is a character that has a weapon with a whole bunch of different elements and they all do different things, right? I don't know the names, but his light gun does this full screen beam that practically has no start-up. He has an ice gun that freezes the opponent for a free mix-up. Then there's this fireball and this mud kind of shot that blocks attacks whilst doing a shot. Figuring out how to use all of these things optimally is going to be a challenge, and it's going to separate who is good at Star-Lord and who is mid as fuck. Star-Lord just has a whole bunch more stuff than this, including a stun grenade and his own kind of zoning tools, but he's also got a lunging attack to keep opponents honest. There is just too much shit going on here for this to be a low skill floor game in my opinion. And this is the case with at least the characters that I have played. Storm has this really cool mechanic where if you place her tornadoes around the stage, you can extend her ult hitbox. So you can basically have a full screen hitbox. Shit's wild, but of course you need to find ways to place these. And then there's Cap with like his shield bullshit, you know. I refuse to say anything nice about Captain America, I'm not gonna lie. I also mentioned that certain characters have different movement types as well, so there's obviously a skill gap that comes with that as well. I by no means think that despite some of the 50-50 bullshit that this is a low skill game, but that is just my personal, inherently correct opinion. I also like this game's like actual systems a lot. You have one health bar for all of your characters, which I think is really cool because one, it means, well, yes, this is a tag game. You don't actually have to learn more than one character if you really don't want to, because in a regular tag game, all of your characters have separate health bars, right? So you would actively be losing another shot to come back into the game if you tagged out to a character with a full health bar and you didn't know how to play them, you know? This is noob shit, obviously. In this game, if you tag out, same health. And I think that's cool. It actually makes for better paced games, in my opinion. I like how the assist gauge, or whatever it's called, works. You get 3 bars and each one is a use of the tag mechanic. I also like how EX moves take away from your meter and not bar, because it actually makes you think about the resources you use. Like I said, I'm not going to remember the name of every single mechanic, but the back-to-back super thing that you can do where you land your super and then for another 50 meter you can do another super with one of your other teammates. That is a pretty strong mechanic which costs a lot. So if you're a Captain America player who wants to spend the entire game spamming full screen EX overheads, then you just won't have this mechanic available to you ever. So rip spammers, I guess. There is one thing I kind of dislike somewhat about the overall systems, and it's the rate at which the wall is broken. I get that you need to break a wall to unlock your teammates, but for me it feels like every single interaction that you have in this game breaks the wall. Like, oh, I hit a low and I get a combo, now the wall's broke. I landed a throw, wall is broke. Oh, I mixed up my opponent and got another throw, wall is broken. And there's like the good old Guilty Gear cutscene every single time the wall breaks, and it's kind of annoying. I don't know who else was bothered by this, but it feels like stop, go, stop, go, annoying. But this is something that definitely can be tweaked pretty easily, I think, so I won't harp on about it too much. Something else that I think needs a slight tweak is team synergy. The assist mechanic in this game feels very bland. Like, all of the assists basically do the same thing with a different animation, as far as I can see. And stuff like super into super, that stuff just always lands. No matter where the opponent is sent to from the first super, they're just glued to the second one. So you don't have to pick out and like discover which characters work with who you play. You can kind of just roll around with anyone and get the exact same results. A thing about tag games that I have always found cool is that you can pick a character who supplements your main character's weaknesses, right? So like Tekken Tag is like what I'll use as an example because Tekken is my main game. But in Tag 2, if your character had bad wall carry, you could pick Lars as your partner to remedy that. In this game, the assists just do the exact same thing no matter what character you have. They all serve the same purpose, and that's kind of dry to me. Of course, this is a beta, so this will, I imagine, guaranteed be changed to give this game more depth. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. Overall, I've pointed out a bunch of things I would like to be tweaked about the game, but this is incredibly fun. It looks fantastic. They have definitely hit on something. Like, Arc Studios definitely have the blueprint for something very, 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 very good. And with the right adjustments, every other fighting game not named Street Fighter could be absolutely cooked, to be honest with you. Be happy that's more people playing fighting games. But yeah, if you liked the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'm posting every other day, and until next time, guys.